today we are going to read about the parts of a flower, and in our syllabus we have the flower belonging to Solanaceae family. Now for this I have selected a chili flower, a chili plant's twig, and this is the chili, that is the fruit of the chili. And few things we need. We need one needle, we need one scissor, we need a sellotape, we need a brush sometimes, and we need a blade. Okay, so these are the primary things which we need, and also we need a paper in which later on you are going to display the parts of the flower. So at first we must learn about this chili flower plant. Now this twig I have brought it, the reason is because to show the arrangement of the leaves. Here you can see that the leaves which are arising, whether it is a branch, side branch or the leaves are arranging in an alternate fashion. So they are alternate, the leaves are alternate in nature. If you look closer to the stem of the stem of the plant is herbaceous. So the plant is herbaceous, it is annual. Sometimes you can also find some varieties of chili plants which are biennial also. And as far as the flower is concerned, if you again look closer, you can see from the axil of the leaf the buds are coming out. So if you look closer, then you can see that this is the bud from which later on the flower will be developing. So this is about the shoot. And root I could not show you, but the plant, if you just can see the leaves, as you can see that there is a central midrib, and the midribs are having the venations which are also alternate. So this forms a kind of network like structure, so it's a reticulate venation. So this type of characteristic is a characteristic of a dicot plant, and dicot plants mostly have a taproot. So this plants belonging to Solanaceae family, they have the taproot system. So this is Solanaceae family is one example. You can take some other examples of petunia flower. Also you can take Solanum tuberosum, which is potato, or even you can take tomato, which all belongs to the Solanaceae family. The next thing which we are going to discuss is about the inflorescence. Now, as we have come to know that they are found in the axil of the leaf and they are solitary, that means they are single, they are not in cluster. So this is a kind of inflorescence that is solitary and axillary. Axillary means in the axil of the leaf. Okay, now let us see the flower. Now here in this slide I have kept few flowers. You need 2-3 flowers, because sometimes when you're dissecting the flowers are damaged. So for this you need 2-3 flowers. So at first, if we take one flower and see it closely, you can find that the flower is having a stalk, isn't it? Now when a flower is having a stalk, it is called, the flower's stalk is called petiole. So it is a petiolated flower. So these characteristics which I am telling, while you will be writing it in your lab manual, you have to write all these characteristics. In front of you have to write flower, in front of it you have to write first characteristic as petiolate. Next let us see the flower's shape. Now if you just invert the flower like this, you can find that the flower is having a green color calyx at its base. Okay, this one is, let us get it closer. So this is the calyx. Okay, this one is the calyx. Now if this individual member of the calyx is called as your sepals. Now this calyx in case of Solanaceae family is persistent. How can you prove so? So this is a chili. Okay, so after the formation of fruit, you can still see that the calyx is persistent. The calyx is still attached to that of the fruit. So such kind of nature of the calyx is called a persistent calyx. So it's a persistent calyx in case of the Solanaceae family. Now again, if you see the calyx, only the head are free from each other, if you get it close like this, and then you can see that this calyx forms a kind of structure which are attached with each other at the bottom. So this kind of nature of calyx is known as your gamosepalous condition. So in case of Solanaceae family, the calyx are gamosepalous. Okay, and they are 5 in number. Of course, for that you need to just take out one of the flower's petals. Okay, and then you just see it. What you will be seeing is that you see the head of the calyx, you can determine. So if you just count it, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, just let us do it like this one. You can see it closely. So these are 5 in number. So in front of calyx you will be writing 5 in number and gamosepalous. Okay, and they are valvate estivation. Now what is the meaning of the valvate estivation is that if you will just cut the calyx or you will take out the calyx, then you will find that the sepals are arranged in this fashion. Okay, somewhat like this. So that means the margin wise they are attached and they are not overlapping. So this type of arrangement is known as your valvate estivation. Okay, arrangement of the sepals are valvate. Okay, next is persistent, as I told you, and they are green in color. You can see easily. Okay, these are green in color. So this is about your calyx. Now what you will be doing is that you will take a A4 size paper and you will be displaying all the parts. So suppose you are putting this as your calyx and with the petal and with the petiole, and then you will be taking out one sellotape. Okay, and you will be cutting it like this. And then you will be just pasting it over it like this, so that it does not come out. And at the bottom you will be writing it as your sepals 5. Okay, like this. Next, let us move on to the corolla or the petals. You can see that they are white in color. They can be sometimes purple. Chili flowers are also purple, and you can count the number of petals: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Petals are also 5 in number. Okay, so petals are also 5 in number, and you can see that the petals, they form a kind of bell-like structure. So it is called as your infundibuli form. This nature is called as infundibuli form. That means a bell-shaped structure, and at the bottom, see, they are joined. Okay, they are not free. The petals seems to be free, but the petals are free only in the front portion, anterior portion. But if you see the posterior portion, they are attached with each other to form a bell-like structure. Now this condition again is known as your gamopetalous condition. Okay, so the petals are gamopetalous, and also they are valvate estivation. Like this, like sepals were valvate estivation, they are also valvate in estivation. Now if you just take one of the flower in your slide, okay, like this, and then you try to just cut it. So let us okay, so let us cut it like this and put it on the slide. So what you find is that the stamens, that is the male part of the flower, see, the male part of the flower is attached with the petals. Okay, they are fixed. Okay, they are called as your epipetalous. They are fixed. If I'm making it possible to give it a closer view, you can see that how they are attached, isn't it? And if you count the number of stamens again, you will find that they are 5 in number. Okay, so let us count. These are 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and in my this hand is 1, 5. This one is 5. So total they are 5 in number. Okay, so 5 petals and 5 stamens, and the stamens are fixed. Now you can see it close. See, the stamens are fixed with the petals, isn't it? And they are 5 in number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How clearly it is visible. The stamens are 5, and they are alternipetalous. Alternipetalous means in between the two petals one stamen is there. Okay, and they are epipetals, petalous, that means they are attached with that of the petals. And the anthers are bithecous. Now for this you need again a magnification, a close magnification. So it's not so easy to see through this, But if you just cut the anther from the center, then you will find that it is bithecal. That means it is having two lobes. Okay, so this is about your petals and the arrangement of the stamens on the petals. Okay, all right. Next is your androecium 5. That's the stamen. They are 5 in number and they are alternipetalous, epipetalous. And next is your gynoecium. Okay, so for gynoecium, let us take another flower. Let us take out the petals. Yeah, I guess now it is clear. See this one. So the bottom one, the green one, you can see this is the ovary containing the ovules. This long one is the style and the tip is the stigma. So this is the gynoecium which you have to display it. Okay, I think I could make it clear. So this is the ovary, this is the style, and this is the stigma. The ovary you do, if you do a section, now ovary is so small, so let us do the section of the fruit, because inside the fruit is the ovules arrangement, so it is the ovary. So if we do a section of this fruit, and if you see the chili, okay, so inside this you can see there are two compartments, isn't it? So these two compartments indicates that the ovary, the gynoecium was bicarpellary. That means it was having two carpels, and these two carpels were fused with each other. So this is called a syncarpous arrangement. And in case of the chili flower, the ovary is superior. That means the gynoecium is at the top and the other members are towards the base. And this type of placentation, these are of course the ovules. This type of placentation is known as your axile placentation, and the placenta is swollen in nature. Okay, and the stigma is bifid, but the stigma is too small here that you cannot really get a closer view that it is having two, that is your, it's bifid, that means having two, that is your feather like structures at the tip. So this is about your parts of that is your flower of belonging to Solanaceae family. Okay, this is the ovule, this is your arrangement of the stamen petals, and of course at the end you have to write the floral formula. So for the floral formula, what you have to write is that there is a rule. You have to write whether bract is present or not. Bract is a kind of extensions, leaf-like extensions at the bottom of the flower, but in this case it is not there, so you will be writing as your EBR. EBR means ebracteate. Then the flower was having, actually it is about the symmetry of the flower. So this one is called as your actinomorphic flower. That means it can be divided into any angles into two equal parts. So this is actinomorphic. Okay, so this symbol stands for actinomorphic. Then it is a bisexual flower, so you are going to use this symbol for bisexual flower. Then calyx you are representing by K. Calyx, how many we have seen? We have seen 5 in number, and they were all fused with each other at the bottom, so they are gamosepalous. So for gamosepalous you have to put the bracket. Then corolla we represent by C. Corolla were also 5 in number, and they were also fused with each other, so it was gamopetalous. Okay, and androecium, we write it with capital A. Androecium were also 5 in number, but they were not fused with each other, so they are free. Okay, but they were alternipetalous, that means with respect to petals, so you have to use this symbol to show that they were joined, basifix with that of the petals, and they were alternipetalous. And then gynoecium with G you will be representing, and gynoecium were 2 in number, and they were syncarpous, that means they were fused with each other, so bracket you will be putting, and it was superior, so for superior we put underline below the gynoecium. So this is the floral formula of any family, So we have done today Solanaceae family. So Solanaceae family floral formula is this: EBR without bracket, then without bract. Then this is your actinomorphic flower, bisexual flower, calyx 5 in number, gamosepalous, corolla 5 in number, gamopetalous, androecium 5 in number, but they were free from each other. They were not fused, and corolla and androecium were fused with each other. So for this symbol, gynoecium 2 in number, they were syncarpous, so we are putting this bracket, that means they were fused, and gynoecium was superior, so we put a underline below it. So this is how you're going to write the floral formula for the parts of a flower for the family Solanaceae. That's all for the practical of parts of a flower.